Thank you and welcome on board. Quick hello to our existing customers. Appreciate everyone for visiting with us today. I'm so glad to see familiar names and faces here, and I appreciate you coming to support us and attend this afternoon. Hello to our new customers as well, prospects that are here today to learn about the Tachyon Warp Predictive Trading Signal System. I hope that over the course of the next hour or so, you will be entertained as well as enlightened as we discuss the ways, the means, the operations we deploy to uncover the predictive times in the markets you trade, including futures, forex, equities, cryptocurrencies, as well as commodities like precious metals and energies like oil and natural gas in the news of late. We're the only company, as far as I know, and my big giant genius brain knows quite a few things. China not only fears Trump's big brain, it is, to the best of my knowledge, in awe as well of my large noggin. And as far as I know, we're one of, if not the only company in the world that has approached the problem of trading from a unique and comfortable direction. It's comfortable in the sense that it aligns with our perceptions of markets being rigged. And so today we're basing everything we do on these weird words on my screen. We give you the times and directions in advance in the most popular futures, forex, and now cryptocurrency markets available. We watch the times pass over the 2 days between that initial marketing email and today's webinar. And 2 days later, we come back together to analyze if the signals were useful in any sense of the word. I understand many of you have come from the same dark shadows of the interwebs that we frequented looking for answers. How can people trade profitably? And many of you have had those experiences we've had. You've come up to us and said, we've had those bad purchases, the lagging indicators, the tools that repaint with disappearing signals, the supposed gurus who take our money and flee. We understand. And so we've approached the problem differently. As engineers, we started this company back in 2008, 2009, in the midst of uncertainty, recession, volatility, and we began to understand that the key was not unlocking some super zero lagging indicator. It was understanding what markets were. And markets are, in every sense of the word, a casino. They're a casino. The house has the edge, and 90+% of people go home with less money than they came. So as engineers, we said, how do we beat the house? And the answer is a form of card counting for traders. People like Marcus here have looked at the world through patterns in mathematics and said, you know, if you look long and hard enough at something chaotic, and we deploy mathematics and pattern recognition, you'll see that there's very little that's random or chaotic. And you start to understand how things work when you look for the patterns. For example, if I had shown this symbol to somebody 20 years ago, most of the people who looked at it would say, I don't know what it is. Is it art? Is it a graphic? What is it, a video game icon? When we were kids growing up with our Commodore 64s, we had something called sprite editors, Sprite like the soda editors, and we could make our own figures to play games with. We could make a man figure or a race car with the sprite editor. Is that what this is? No, it just seems like a random bunch of nonsense. But when we apply the tool to random nonsense, when we deploy something that was built to find the patterns and decode them, we see that random scattering of dots equates with information. There's something embedded inside of the information, okay? Everything is not necessarily chaotic. We're just not looking for the right patterns. And when you apply the right tool, the patterns emerge. So, for example, if I were to look at this chart with 100 different traders that aren't our customers, and I ask them, hey, what patterns do you see here? I would get a veritable cornucopia of answers. There's a head and shoulders pattern here. I see a spinning top pattern. Oh, there's a clear double bottom at one point. And I think we're asking the wrong questions. I believe that the patterns we need to focus on are based entirely on time. What if we look for time patterns? Are there any times in crude futures lately where institutions, banks, investment banks are investing, pushing money into crude futures? And if we ask the right question, if we apply the right filter, we see that over and over and over again, this 5:30 time begins to emerge from what was a seemingly random chart. And day after day after day, most of the time, 5:30 Eastern Standard produces a move to the upside lately. And so it stands to reason that that same tool, if we apply it, could warn us in advance and prepare us for tomorrow's 5:30, for Monday's 5:30. What if we had a tool that was always looking for times in the market that were abnormally rich in recurrence? What if we had a tool that was always looking for times that were being pushed up and down a little too frequently, suspiciously even? Well, that's what we're here today to talk about. That's what we're here today to discuss. It's the same process every week. Every week I send out the predictions, the recurring behavioral time signals on Tuesday afternoon. My wife knows when I disappear up the stairs around 7 or 8 o'clock here in North Carolina, the beautiful half-back state. Everyone who moves to Florida and says it's too hot moves halfway back from New York or New Jersey and settles down here in the buckle of the Bible Belt. And around 7, 8 o'clock, I wander upstairs and I send our prospects a link to a page that I'll show you. And it has the behavioral forecasts, the times that our time engine has found, times where the people that we believe cheat are pushing markets up and down lately. And then Wednesday, all of our prospects watch those times. In fact, some of you here today never buy my software. You trade using the free signals that we publish every Tuesday for Wednesday and Thursday. There are people who are earning a living trading with the free signals, but I digress. On Thursday, we come back together, a process that we've repeated every week for the last 13 years, over 600 webinars, several thousand customers in every major financial market and geographical location in the world. And so we're going to evaluate, did it work? Did the software do something? And by something, I mean something statistically relevant, something obviously useful. I don't want us to require a PhD in mathematics to use the tool. I'd like you to look at it like you look at an iPhone and see the information clearly, simply, and cleanly. So we're going to look at the signals from two different directions. We're going to look at them from the raw information side. Did the signals go up and down at the times we were expecting them to? But that's raw. It's not a trading system per se. And then we'll evolve into a setup. If you don't have a trading system, if you don't have a methodology, could we use the times and directions inside of a mechanical, discretion-free, rules-based trading system? Okay, so there's a difference between the signals and the setup, as you'll see here. And what I want you to understand is that we believe markets aren't random, that anything can't happen. Even in the most tumultuous and seemingly random times like World War III, that somebody's got their hands on the buttons behind the curtain. The great Oz is always manipulating things. And so we're here today to seek an edge. We want to establish a statistically relevant edge. Does this coin flip heads more often than tails? Is the side with tails a little heavier than the side with the head on it? Can I flip it 100 times and know that it's going to flip in my favor 55 or 60% of the time so that I win the longer I flip it? That's the definition of an edge. Are there signals in the data? Are there signals in the data that we can point to in the future that provide a statistical edge? When we look at them with our raw, naked eyes as a signal, or when we apply a rules-based, discretion-free trading system to it. And ultimately, it comes down to this question: what is trading? Many of you came to us from a lagging indicator background. Michael, I used moving averages and volume and order flow analysis. I used candle patterns and Heikin-Ashi colorings, and then I used this and that and support and resistance and floor trader pivots and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. And none of that stuff seems to work for very long. What if trading isn't about the past? What if trading is saying, hey, I have a feeling I know what's going to happen 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 days from now? That's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at here today. So first things first, you said you sent us all this information. What are you talking about? Well, if you're not an existing customer, you got a link to this page. And I'll go ahead and put a copy of that link in the GoToWebinar chat box. Can everybody see where that link appeared in the chat box for the GoToWebinar control center that you're looking at? Let me know if you guys see that or not. Andy, did that come through, Bruce? Okay, good. If you click on that, it'll take you to this page that tens of thousands of people received a link to on Tuesday night. And when you expand these signals here, you're going to see that we provided behavioral maps, time maps, predictive time maps for the S&P E-mini, for the E-mini Dow, crude futures, gold futures, the DAX, E-mini NASDAQ, Euro dollar, pound dollar, Ethereum, tons of markets. Well, what is this chart trying to tell us? Much like my earlier example, the software, Tachyon Warp, over 12,000 lines of code, have been doing some heavy lifting for you, for us, for everybody. And what it wanted us to know was that all of these times above the zero line are coming up suspiciously over and over and over again. These times are recurring. They're repeating with irregular, abnormal frequency when we scan the historical data, when we look for that type of time-based information. And so 9:24 Eastern, 10:24, 11:21, these are all times that the software said, hey, watch out tomorrow at that time. It's kind of like a landmine. Imagine if you had a map in a time of war that told you where all of the landmines are buried, or most of them. How much would that be worth to you in trading if that map turned out to be accurate? Well, if we look at the underside, we peek underneath at the chassis, we'll see all of these times were shenanigan times to the upside, times that the software lately on a 3-minute chart have caught banks pushing prices higher. These are times where prices, for whatever reason, are appearing abnormally frequently as buying pressure times. Does everybody understand what I mean when I say that? Selling times up top, buying pressure times down below. So we have that first component. We have that first component, the signals. The signals. And if we apply those signals to markets like Ethereum or to the E-mini NASDAQ, for example, what starts to emerge is something like this. We start to see something really suspicious and sneaky and weird. So for example, let me come up here and pull up that exact chart. We'll scroll down until we get to crude futures. And you'll see there are the times, or I'm sorry, the NASDAQ. That's what I wanted, not the crude futures. Forgive me. We have no bananas today. So, quick show of hands. Can everyone see right here where it says 226 on my chart? Squint if you have to. If you're as old as I am, your eyes start to get a little weak this time of day. At 2:26 or 14:26 Eastern, we've known about this time since Tuesday. Since Tuesday. And up top, you'll see on my chart, my actual chart, my live chart for today, that that same histogram time appears. 2:26, 2:26, 2:26. The time to the left of that was 14:10 military time, or 2:10 Eastern. Here we have 2:10 p.m. Eastern on my actual chart, and 2:10 Eastern with a dot marking the actual bar, 2:10. Now, the difference between the signal and the setup is this. When I ask the following question, did the market go down between 11:57 and 12:23? Did the market go down between 11:27 and 11:43? Did the market go down around 1240 until 1249? Do you see what I'm asking? Did the market go down at 1004 and 945, push up at 932, and push down at 921, right? The time just before the US Open. Did it push up even just a little bit and put a pivot in at 1007 and 955? Did it push down again at 1022, up again at 1031, and then down again at 1035, 1047, and 11 o'clock? And then up from 1105 until 1127. This is what I mean by the signal. Does everyone see what I mean by that? At 1052, it did not go up. It went down. Does everyone see what I mean by the signal versus the setup? When you look at it with your naked eye, you go, holy cow, way more signals went when we expected it to, in the direction we expected it to, than not. So earlier when I said, hey, there's a difference between the signal and the setup, I want you to know, if you're a trader that looks for highs and lows, high a day, low a day, the information can be used multiple ways. Okay, but I need to have your trust to show you the next thing, right? So we agree that 60–70% of the time when we're looking at these signals, we're seeing stuff that we shouldn't be seeing. So for example, the last two signals on the crude futures chart. Jeff, take a look. I'll draw my arrow, and I just want you to see that I'm not trying to pull one over on you, right? 354, 306, and now 418. Where did that information come from? Thursday, CL. You see where it says 354, 418, and 306 on this chart, Jeff, Jerry, everybody else at home? Hi, Melissa. Jeff, I gave that to you when? On Tuesday. Well, how the bloody heck can we come back 2 days later and see that the market came up from a low at that time? And there's this 3-bar push down at 254 right here, right? And then Jeff, look here at 2:30. The candle opens, goes all the way down, and then 2:36, this little tiny move up. And now even after the close, it's starting to go up again. What's going on is that the banks that move the markets are incredibly adept at hiding their tracks. Hiding their tracks just enough to let you believe or make you believe that the market is random. That's cool, Jeff. It's witchcraft. Now, earlier when I said there was a difference between the signal and the setup, what was I referring to? Well, if we go back to the web page where I gave out the signals, I also gave the clues or the rules for the trading system. If you're new to trading or you're just trying to see if I'm pulling one over on you or pulling your leg, I want you to see what the rules are, and we're going to apply them to the most difficult market, in my opinion, the E-mini S&P. The E-mini S&P is the market that breaks people. It's the one that I've seen most people lose most of their accounts with. We'll also be showing how the signals can be traded using one of two simple entry rules called what? Signal with trend or the puncture trade. Signal with trend or the puncture trade. So, Jeff, we're trying to build some simple rules and see if I didn't have to think about it, could I program a computer to do it? And at the end of 2 days, would I have lost money, or Melissa, might we have made money? Did this provide an edge? Did my coin weigh a little bit more on the tails side than the heads side? Did my dice have a little piece of lead on the side that had the number 6? Did I have an edge? Well, what's the difference between a signal with trend and a puncture trade? In the video, I describe it this way. We're going to use a 120 period moving average, an exponential moving average. It's not magical, it's just what we've used over the years. I had a guy not tell his customers what moving average he was watching. He said it was proprietary. I said, oh my God, this guy, trust me, it's not that magical. And in the chat room, I told everybody, that's an 89 EMA, and I got banned. I got banned. So when the moving average is going up and we arrive at one of those buying pressure times, at the close of that candle, let's say it's a high close candle, and it has a wick here and a wick there, right? If we have a signal with trend, we're going to put a stop 1.5 average true range values away from that candle. There's my stop. Now, the average true range is an indicator developed by Wells Wilder of market technician fame in the 1980s. And Wells Wilder was searching for a way to measure how far on average a bar was moving over a period of time. And so this gap in time is a little over 1 average bar height away, 1.5 ATR. That number is flexible. As the market is more volatile, the stops get bigger. As the number is less volatile and quiet, that stop gets smaller. It's like the stretchy waistband of your favorite pants on Thanksgiving. Come on, we're going to grandma's house. I'm going to be a 36 by the time I'm done eating that turkey. Better not wear my dress slacks. I'm going to put on the Nike pants. So 1.5 average true range values is just outside market noise. It's just about a bar away. And the premise, the hope, the belief is that this candle will start to go up and move in this direction. And so we're going to enter at the close of the candle. We'll put a little E right there. We're going to have a stop 1.5 average true ranges away, and we're going to exit the trade when we arrive at the next selling pressure time. In fact, I'll put the word exit up here. We close the trade at the close of the opposite time signal. That is a signal with trend. Any questions about that? We get in, hopefully the time pattern is repeating. We put our stop just outside of market noise. We pray to Buddha, Allah, Jesus, and the Kwanzaa tree for the window to repeat. And if it does, we're in the flow. We're moving and grooving with Credit Suisse, who is trying to shred all of its papers, proving it lent all of the Russian oligarchs the money they needed for their mega Jeff Bezos yachts. We're hopefully in the flow of trades with Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, who just got fined nearly $1 billion for manipulating markets last year. We're hopefully in the vault with those thieves when they're breaking into our great-grandchildren's futures. And we want to get out of the vault when they usually close the door, just before if we can. That's the premise of a signal with trend. What is a puncture trade? A puncture trade is weird. It's based off of a failure. So let's say for example, words are hard. Let's say, for example, we arrive at a selling pressure time. And the selling pressure candle appears, and we have a stop level 1.5 ATR values away, Jeff, right? It's up here somewhere. Now, the premise of a puncture trade is the following. Melissa, what are we most afraid of when we're purchasing? What are we most afraid of, Mark, when we go long in the market? Muhammad, what do we not want to have happen? Selling bad. If we're buying, we want everyone to buy. So when we have a selling pressure signal in the direction of the trend, what we're hoping is this. We're hoping it'll move down, close below the moving average so we can go short with a stop just above the crossover candle. That's what we're hoping will happen. We're hoping this thing will be like the Titanic, directed by James Cameron. I'm the king of the world. I'm really cold. I'll never let go. Just before I do. What if that doesn't happen? What if it starts to creep up? James, what if it starts to do this? Jerry, what that tells me, what it's been telling me, what I'm seeing it communicate to me is the following. The sellers that are usually here a lot at this time are nowhere to be found. The castle is unguarded. This thing's still going up. It's still going up. There are no sellers. If there are no sellers, what is it safe to do? It's safe to buy. And so what we do with a puncture trade is this. We enter at the breakout of the stop. Our stop is now just below the breakout candle right here. And then we hold this trade until the next time. A puncture trade is a failure with trend. That's a great way to say it. Failure with trend. Hello, are there any sellers here? Hello? Goldman? Mr. Morgan? Deutsche? Sprechen Sie Deutsche? Anybody? Dude, I don't think there's any sellers here. What do we do? You want to go long with a small stop? Yeah, let's give it a shot. That's a puncture trade. Is there anyone confused between the difference between a puncture trade or a signal with trend? So if we go back and we look at that crazy CL chart, right? And we keep track of all of those signals. Jeff, if we say I'm going to go short at 10:30 and I'm going to exit by 11:03, if we say I'm going to go short at 8:42 and I'm going to get out by the time the vault closes at 9:30, if I'm going to go short at 11:36 and I'm going to exit by 12:06, what does that add up to at the end of the day? Well, with one contract, this was up until 3 o'clock when I didn't check it anymore. It added up to, by 3 o'clock today, $4,940 per futures contract. If you were trading a micro contract, that was the equivalent of $500 in one day. But I said that was in crude futures. I wanted to go back and look at the hard one, the Kraken, the one that breaks people, right? The one that we're told by the vendors, we got to trade, because with my system, Jerry, you're gonna be trading 100 contracts soon, right? With my signals, you're gonna be trading 100 contracts soon. And if you did that yesterday, using the signals that I gave you on Tuesday, Jeff, if you went long and got out, if you went long and got out, if you went long and got out yesterday, did the coin have a little more lead on one side than the other? Did we have an edge? We made more when we won than we lost. We won more often than we lost. Using 24-hour old times in this example, a 120 period exponential moving average in predictive times that a 12,000 line of code watchdog found for us. Today was a little weirder, a little choppier. Our good buddy Jerome Powell sat at a desk and he said to the world, blah, 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 interest rates, blah, 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 Ukraine, inflation. And no one ever asked Mr. Powell if he accepted responsibility for inflation. My son showed me a sticker and he said, Dad, look, these are on all the gas tanks. Thanks, Joe Biden. I did this. And I said, no. And if it said, thanks, Donald Trump, I would disagree too. I would ask Mr. Powell how he sleeps at night, loaning his buddies at Goldman Sachs billions and billions of dollars at zero interest rate for decades. Quantitative easing is what they called it with Bernanke back in 2008 and 9. They still did it. And when you give away billions and billions of dollars, those dollars aren't worth anymore. Most people don't realize that inflation is a tax on the working class. It's a hidden tax. And so no one puts Jerome Powell's face on a gas pump, but here we are with those same rules. And over the course of 2 days of signals, we have $962 and $2,575 per full-size lot in the E-mini S&P. That's $3,500 for signals that are how many days old at that point? Two. Any questions? This doesn't just work intraday. We can apply this to other markets. For example, we can look at this on a daily chart for the E-mini S&P. We can look at it on a daily chart for the E-mini S&P. And using our advanced patterning, a filter that tells us when the times are about to go in the opposite direction, I want you to see where the last three signals were. If you're a customer at home, I'll show you my settings so you can see. This is a default value, swing strength of 8, 714 calendar days. And I've turned the advanced patterning off. My swing strength for 4s and 5s is set to 1. And when we do that, Melissa, it appears that we're able to uncover in advance what the shenanigan guys are doing. Next signal is the 3rd today. So when tomorrow opens, I'll look to see, is it a pattern 5 or a pattern 1? Do we go up or down? And then I have a window until the 17th. We can apply this information to Bitcoin. We can look at cryptocurrencies and see, when should I buy Bitcoin? Well, you should buy it on October 1st. You should buy it when it punctured the line here on October 6th. You should have bought Bitcoin again on October 13th and then on November 2nd. You could have bought it again on November 23rd and realized there was no gain to be had. It was stalling and gotten out break even. And then you could have bought it again on December 16th when banks were pushing higher and higher, right? We can update the contract. At that point and see that those times continued. And now we could have sold Bitcoin futures on January 1st. We could have sold Bitcoin futures at the puncture on January 21st, as well as the 3rd. We could have sold them again on the 28th and then sold them again on March 15th, where they careened down into February 25th. On a daily time frame, we could be trading stocks with options, calls, and puts, and see on a market like Ford where the longs were, finishing our call by November 8th, another call or buying Ford stocks on the 3rd, taking the puncture on January 4th, below the moving average, not doing anything because we are below the moving average, seeing that consolidation. And then Melissa, a pattern 4 telling us, even though it's a blue dot, it should behave like a white dot. You could have bought Ford right here on February 23rd and 24th, and you'd see it start to go up. We can apply that same information to Ethereum if we're looking at that on a daily time frame and see that same kind of information, when to buy crypto with the other Russian oligarchs. Right? And then we can come all the way out to the daily chart on gold. Is there any way to know when people are going to convert dollars into gold? Yeah. If you bought gold, even with a micro lot on February 7th, and you held it until February 28th, it's up 912 ticks. About $9,000 per contract. The last time before that, it was up 284 ticks, or almost $3,000. The next time is March 9th. The next time is March 9th. I can do this for wheat, soybeans, everything that is in short demand and supply right now. You could look at precious metal futures that are in jeopardy. You can look at military stocks like Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Boeing. all of these guys that are secretly building stuff that are going to show up in Europe in unmarked boxes. Hey, who gave us all of these missiles? He's covered with McDonald's wrappers. I think he's from US. Those guys are working overtime right now. And you can see when those dates are coming in the future. In Forex, we can apply this to the pound dollar, the euro US dollar. We can apply it to the ruble. You can apply it to the peso. I don't care. Go crazy. And we can see those turns in advance and see what happened at those signals in the past, right? When do I sell? When do I buy? None of these signals repaint. None of them disappear or reappear. A year from now, we'll see where all those signals were and what they said to do. And here's the kicker. Ready? Remember earlier I told you we're the only company that warns you in advance what's coming. Remember how our country was warning everyone in Europe? Here's what Putin's going to do. He's going to say this is happening here. Here's where all of his tanks are. Here's what's going to happen next. Everything to the right-hand side of that white line is a future signal. And no one else gives you this because no one else started a company in the trading community as an engineer like we were. Most of the people you go to a webinar like this, they're a marketing expert. Most of these people have marketing funnels and leads and affiliate deals and relationships with email guys. We were engineers. And one line turned into 10, turned into 1,000, turned into 12,000 lines of code. And we found them. And so we're the only company, as far as I know, we're the only company in the world that tells you when the future signals are coming. And most of the time, when the drop comes, right, that coin has a little more weight. Has a little more weight. So Daryl, on this chart, it's a buying pressure signal, right? What direction was the market going? Which direction was the freight train moving? North or south? Up or down? It's going down. So some customers see that and say, 9 o'clock, I'm going to stand in front of the freight train. Now what happened? Well, if you draw a line right here, it opened and went up into 4 o'clock. Now, Daryl, if you're going to trade against the freight train, then what I would recommend, if you're a bottom top picker, and that's fine, no judgment, what I do personally is I put my stop just underneath the signal candle. You see how that's a little closer than this one? If you're going to risk it, if you're going to run in front of that train, hey guys, look at me. Billy, get out of there. No way, I can get out. Then lower your risk, right? But what I teach people is this. Don't do that. Most of the people that I know that are making money consistently as customers, about 2/3 of them, are patiently taking signals in the direction of the trend, right? These are the signals. What these are exits. Those white dots to you, get out now. Playtime's over, Billy. Get in the bathtub. Oh, Mom, get out now. Get out. Get out. But what is it based on, right? This is what I want to kind of come full circle on. It's based on this. You're playing cards with the manager of the Bellagio. You're rolling dice with Joe Pesci at Caesar's Palace. You're pulling the handle of a slot machine at the Paris Hotel. And you think you have a shot. You think the next pull is going to go ding, 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 ding. What you forgot. What you forgot is that the people you're trading against will spend every dollar to cheat. They hide their information. I just type JP Morgan fine. And I look and see what's up next. And I keep going down. There's a website called violationtracker.goodjobsfirst.org. Financial offenses, $31 million. Competition-related offenses, consumer protection-related offenses, government contracting offenses, toxic securities abuses. Can you see that, Melissa? First time I've ever saw this. I want to blow it up. This is who you trade against. You're trading against a casino. They make the rules. And I don't care how fast your computer is. I don't care how modern your office is. And if you have one of those fancy $2,000 chairs with the mesh in the back, I don't care that you went to Harvard or you have 13 dry cleaning facilities and you were top of your class at whateverville. You are playing soccer on a 45-degree angle every morning. That bell goes ding, 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 ding. And Scarlett Johansson and the Disney guy are up there laughing their rear ends off. We believe the markets are not fair. And the only way to know in advance, Daryl, and I've hopefully proven to you today, I am an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my duty to do my best to God and my country, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, trustworthy, helpful, kind, cheerful, obedient, clean, and reverent. All of that stuff, that's this guy here. And look at the lengths that I've gone to prove to you that this is happening. If you remove me and my personality and you put any one of you in this seat to review what I just reviewed and did what I did, the results are still the same. My motives don't matter. My trading acumen doesn't matter. How many wives I've had, just one, doesn't matter. Do you trade on the beach with a laptop and a Moscow Mule and your marketing photos on Instagram? Because that's very important to me. No. You got to know how the slot machine software is working. But first, you have to believe that the game is rigged. If you think the markets are fair, if you think there are no patterns to be found, that it's efficient and nobody wins or loses, that the banks don't talk to each other the way they did in 2008 and 2009 anymore, that the unelected fourth branch of the government isn't peeling away the wealth of the lower and middle classes of America, interest rate decision by interest rate decision, then we can't help you. You're living in a world where Sasquatch and the abominable snowman play Uno at night at the top of the mountain. and they use a UFO for a light source. I can't help you. But if you believe what you saw here today, I want to be part of your pit crew. I want to surround you with other engineers like me. My partner's an engineer on staff. The programmers that work with us are top of the line. The people that help our customers are other customers that have qualified for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual prop firm accounts. There's one guy, I'm going to give you his information here. He's qualified for 5 funded accounts using the software I've just shown you. That's who I want to surround you with. Okay? Now, when I told you we would start this, we were going to look and see what was the setup at the end of all of this. Was it a positive or a negative? Did we make more money than we lost? In gold, in Ford, in Tesla, in SPY, in the pound dollar, in the euro dollar, in the franc ruble, whatever you're trading, we see there's a statistical edge over and over again. If we applied it to crude with the rule set I showed you just today was a $5,000 day almost per contract. If we applied it to the E-mini S&P with one contract over 2 days from 8 o'clock to close is about $3,500 or $350 with a micro account in 2 days. And you know when the times are coming. Aren't you tired of sitting there wondering when the next signal is going to come? And if it's going to stay on your screen or disappear like magic? How does it work? Well, here's how it works. If you would like to have this for yourself, the program that we're talking about is called Tachyon Warp. We are science fiction nerds here. Bonds? Easily on bonds, lol. There is no market that this does not work on. I've applied this to the Indian Nifty. I've applied this to Saudi Arabian stocks. I've applied it to soybean oil, to soy meal, to soybeans, wheat, corn, home heating oil. What are we up to? Hang on one second. Lol, can you see my chart here before you interrupted my close? I was gearing up for it, lol. Could you hear it? I was very excited. Yeah, it works on bonds. As you go higher and higher on the time frames, I'm not sure what time frame you're trading, but lol, can you see those wonderful moves down and up and down and up and down? That's a pattern 5. Down and up and down and up. And as we go higher and higher in the time frames, there are fewer and fewer signals. And lol, doesn't it feel like someone's got their hand on the scales? When I see this, I used to listen to an artist. His name was, how many of you have heard of Stephen Curtis Chapman? Anyone here heard of Stephen Curtis Chapman? Singer out of Tennessee, used to be I think he still is a Christian contemporary artist. And lol, he told a story about his 2 sons. And he heard one of his sons crying. And he came in the room. One of his sons was holding a kid-sized bat that said Louisville Slugger in the wood burning. And he looked at his other son who was crying, and on his forehead you could see the indent from the bat. Louisville Slugger spelled backwards, Ravi. Clearly, the one son had hit the other son in the head with a bat. He was holding the bat. The indent of the words were still imprinted on his flesh, his red forehead. And the son said, I didn't do anything. Lowell, when I look at this chart, and I know you trade bonds, I see Goldman Sachs holding the bat, and I see the words Louisville Slugger backwards in your trading account. And I laugh because we know how to find them now. We've hunted them like dogs for over a decade. And I know where they hide. And we've helped over 3,000 people expose that truth and bring it to the light. So our flagship product, yeah, it works on bonds. Please. Any market, any bank can trade in. We have a success story and a customer testimonial. You'll see that in your GoToWebinar chat box. I've posted another link. Yes, Lowell. Brian will get in touch with you and give you some information on that. Tachyon Time Warp at the very bottom of the page has a Willy Wonka golden ticket. This button is the difference between waking up tomorrow and not knowing and knowing. If you want to wake up tomorrow and not know what times the banks are going to screw you, pardon my French, but that's the appropriate word. If you don't want to know when the bat is coming, don't push this button. If you like being surprised, whee, boo, you scared me. In your trading account, don't push that button. If you like strolling into work and telling everybody how you got reamed in copper futures again and how much money you lost in the E-mini NASDAQ at the water cooler, don't push this button. If you don't want to be part of the 72 people who've left a 4 or 5 star review for us on Trustpilot, and just a word about Trustpilot, I can't delete anybody's review once they post it. If you have something you'd like to say about our company and you own the software, you're more than welcome to come in here and leave a review. These are all card-carrying, credit card receipt owners of the software. And we have a 4.8 out of 5. If someone, the very first review someone left was a 1-star review, I would have deleted it by now if I could. But I can't. These are real people. If you want to be part of that, you can. But if you do, there is an annoying window that pops up, and here's what it's for. Along with the software, we have a monthly recurring subscription for a training room that meets Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of every week, and from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock Eastern for those 3 days, so 12 hours a week. My best friend and partner, my other engineering friend that I was telling you about, runs a training room. And I've been posting clips of those training rooms on our YouTube channel, backtothefuturetrading.com. And Ron's only job, besides training some of you, is to take the software and show the kinds of setups that I showed you here today. Signals in the direction of the trend, pullbacks to support. If you're the kind of customer that likes to have that kind of training environment, I can wholeheartedly recommend that service to you. It's discounted here, and I think it's 25% off for people that sign up when they purchase the software. If you want something like that, if you're a visual hands-on learner, We made sure to have that available for you. Okay, not everybody wants something like that. They kind of go off on their own sometimes and like to train by themselves. But if you are a hands-on learner like that, then by all means, please push that button. You can cancel anytime. You can opt out at the end of the month, and no harm, no foul. I recommend every customer, if they can, get in there for at least 1 month and then get their feet wet. But if you don't want that, you don't need it, you don't have to have it, don't click it. We're going to go to the checkout without that. This is our purchase agreement. We make sure that we're very clear with you what we're responsible for. Make sure you have a computer that is at least a couple years old. Don't expect something from 1982. You have an Amiga or a Tandy 1000. Please don't call us and tell us you're having problems with the signals. You will have no sympathy from us. Also, we make sure to let you know we're going to make sure the software works. Don't try to steal the code. We'll know if you're doing it. And then if you're abusive to anyone on staff, you like to type in all caps and call people 4-letter names when you're upset, we're just going to refund your money and part ways because we're not a good fit. When you get to this page, there's a few things you need to know about getting started with us. Number one, that this software includes 2 computer licenses. These are lifetime updates and licenses. So as we update the software, there's a big update coming middle of this spring. You're going to get that for free. Okay. Lifetime updates are included. You're also going to have free installation, white glove installation to make sure the software is running properly on your computer. We'll log on via GoToMeeting and check it just to make sure everything's copacetic. You're also going to get free training. You can meet with our training staff, lasts anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. We'll set up all of your charts, whatever markets you're trading, Forex, futures, equities, 1-minute charts, daily charts, options on SPY, I don't care. We'll go through it with you step by step, show you how it all works, save your workspaces and templates, record the whole thing for you, and make sure you're happy. In addition to that, we have a video training archive that you have lifetime access to that you can go in and learn at your own pace. You want to watch stuff on the weekend, go through and watch the training videos, how we use the different signals and different kinds of setups, how to change the colors of the bars, whatever it is you want to do. All that stuff's been recorded and is available for you for when you're ready to go through it. You can learn at your own pace. And then finally, there's the promo code. That's the best part. That's the icing and the cherry on top. The promo code for this software is the following. Get ready and type it in. It's valid right now. WARPOFF. Lowercase, no space. WARPOFF. WARP in Cincinnati, OFF. And when we plug that into our webinar promo code box, you'll see that it's going to take $500 off the price of the software. If you have a PayPal account, you can split that up. You can buy now and pay later. You can use a debit or a credit card. If you're a Russian oligarch and you want to send a bank wire transfer, we'll be happy to do that for you also. But it reduces the price to $1,995. My question to you is, where can you go in the universe that you can purchase something like that and over the course of a couple of days recoup your money? Potentially. I'm not allowed to say you're going to get your money back right away. I'm not allowed really to promise much in that respect. But based on what we've been seeing and looking at here too, I am not related to Herb, whoever that is. But I showed you today $3,500 potential profits in oil in the ES over 2 days. We're asking for a lifetime license, lifetime updates, made in America by Eagle Scout engineers, Hawk Sound, available to you right now for $1,995. Now, if you don't believe a word I say, and you probably shouldn't, even at this point, we have a customer. He bought the software. He went through the training. He taught himself the things he needed to learn. At the end of the day, if you want to email someone who's been through the process, he took the training, he got the phone calls, he got the installation, and now he has qualified for multiple funded accounts. You can email him. Brian, if you want those people to call you, what number do you want them to reach out to? I'm going to get you a phone number. Here we go. 802. This is a real customer. 427-4123. Hey, is this dude for real? Are you a real person? I want to hear your voice so I can listen to my spidey sense tingling. I've had customers put their wives on the phone with me. My wife can tell if you're a swindler. All right, put her on. Guy buys anyway. But I'll talk to your wife. I don't care. Brian is the real deal, and he's making money in real accounts. And if you want to talk to him, email him. You can. If you're an existing customer, Brian has a paid mentorship service. If you want to learn how to qualify for funded accounts with companies like Top Step Trader, Apex, Lilu, Earn to Trade, and UProfit, you can contact Brian, and he has a mentorship program. He works with customers one-on-one, and he'll show you what to do, how he's doing it, and how he's done it to qualify for these $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 funded accounts. So if that's something you want to know more about, or if you're a customer and you want to be in Ron's training room live, I think today he had a $1,900 day. Yesterday he had like a $900 or $1,000 day in the 4 hours trading in the room. You can also contact Brian and he'll get you information. If you're an old customer coming back or a new customer, anyone here who owns the software that hasn't been in the room for a month, you need to get in Ron's room and learn the things he's doing and the setups that he's teaching. It's an amazing investment that has a proven return. So appreciate if you want to know more information about that. Brian's mentorship program or Ron's training room, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can let him know all about that. I don't know about you, but I feel very satisfied right now. 2 days ago, I sent tens of thousands of people the predictive times for the E-mini S&P, Dow, gold, oil, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Eurodollar. If there were sneaker futures, we could have sent those times out too. And we came back together looking for evidence of two things: turns at the times, empirical, anecdotal turns at these times. And we agreed 60–70% of the time that those signals were producing moves. And now encapsulating those times with mechanical rules, signals in the direction of the trend. Trend is up, we buy. Trend is down, we sell. And we applied it to different markets. We looked at the NASDAQ, we looked at the S&P, we looked at oil. We applied it to gold on a daily chart, and we see over and over again that the edge is in our favor if we recognize the shenanigans of the people in charge, the fourth unelected branch of government, that somehow or another always escapes unscathed, whether it be war or recession or depression or housing calamities. These guys just like the casinos, walk away clean and fresh and brand new clothes and get into a scratch-free car with leather seats and a butler named Jeeves with their gray Poupon. If you want to stand in the vault when they do and leave with the money when they leave, you know how to get moving and get started with us. 13 years in business, thousands of customers worldwide, 4.8 out of 5 rating that we can alter or change. Customers willing to talk to you on the phone and share their experiences, then I got nothing for you. I've met people who use markets to abuse themselves. Their mom told them they were no good growing up. Their mother-in-law says you'll never amount to anything, and they wake up every day and prove them right. I've met customers who trade because they like the fellowship of chat rooms and typing to people, and someone in Albuquerque wanted to know what I thought about Apple, and that's their motive, and that's fine. But if you want to be profitable, if you want someone to stand up at your funeral someday and say, boy, I was really nervous when Billy or Susan was learning how to do that trading stuff, but darn if they didn't prove us wrong. I don't know what happened, but they started coming to the family barbecues with smiles on their faces, and their car wasn't leaking oil out the back exhaust anymore. I don't know what they changed, but something was different, and we all had to eat crow. If you're that person that knows nothing is coincidence and this webinar happened to you for a reason, welcome to our family. We are here to support you. We are part of your pit crew, and we enjoy being a part of your journey and look forward to your testimonial. May the wind be at your back. May the sun, the glorious golden sun, shine upon your face, even in the clouds overhead today across the world. May the valleys rise up to meet you, and may the mountains lay low before you. We wish you prosperity. We wish you success, health, happiness, joy, family, and friendship. Thank you for your time here today. It is a privilege and an honor to share our life's work with you. Go and do likewise, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to stand alongside you if you are. Have a great night. Check your emails for the recordings in a few hours. And God bless if you believe in such things. Take care.